What if the woman lying helpless in that hospital bed wasn't the victim everyone believed her to be? Sometimes the most dangerous femme fatales hide their power behind a mask of vulnerability, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal their true strength. Here's the story of Sarah Martinez, a devoted wife recovering from surgery when her husband of 15 years walked into her hospital room with divorce papers. He thought he'd found the perfect moment to abandon her when she was at her weakest. He was about to discover just how wrong he could be. In the sterile white room that smelled of antiseptic and broken dreams, David Martinez couldn't even look his wife in the eyes as he placed the legal documents on her bedside table. He mumbled something about growing apart, about needing space, about how the medical bills were just too much. Sarah listened in silence, her dark eyes never leaving his face, cataloging every nervous gesture and rehearsed excuse. She'd suspected this moment would come. David had grown distant over the past year, his phone constantly buzzing with mysterious messages, his excuses becoming more elaborate. What he didn't know was that Sarah had been preparing for this betrayal long before he'd even conceived of it. While David believed he was married to a simple housewife who depended entirely on his modest salary as a middle manager, Sarah had been building an empire in the shadows. It started 5 years ago when she discovered David's first affair. Instead of confronting him, she channeled her rage into something far more productive. Using skills she'd learned in her abandoned marketing career, Sarah began creating digital content under multiple pseudonyms. She launched lifestyle blogs that attracted millions of followers, developed online courses that sold like wildfire, and invested her profits with the precision of a Wall Street veteran. Every evening, while David watched television, believing his wife was simply browsing social media, Sarah was managing a business empire that generated over $80,000 per month. She'd learned to code, mastered digital marketing, and built relationships with brands across 3 continents. Her content about home organization, personal finance, and lifestyle optimization resonated with audiences worldwide. The irony wasn't lost on her that she was teaching other women financial independence, while her husband remained completely oblivious to her success. Sarah had funneled every dollar into offshore accounts and cryptocurrency wallets that David couldn't access or even imagine existed. She'd consulted with the best financial advisors and lawyers, always paying in cash, always maintaining absolute secrecy. The woman who appeared to clip coupons and worry about grocery bills had actually accumulated over $1 million in liquid assets. As David finished his pathetic speech about their failed marriage and turned to leave, Sarah's voice stopped him cold. Her tone was calm, almost amused, as she asked him to sit down. She had something to show him. With movements that betrayed none of the supposed weakness from her recent surgery, Sarah pulled out her laptop and began displaying bank statements, investment portfolios, and business revenue reports. David's face transformed from smug confidence to absolute shock as the numbers registered. His wife, the woman he'd dismissed as financially helpless, was worth more than he'd earned in 20 years. Sarah explained that she'd already consulted with divorce attorneys, far more expensive than David could afford. She owned their house outright, having secretly paid off the mortgage 2 years earlier. The medical bills he'd complained about already settled in full. She'd been testing him, waiting to see if he'd stand by her during her recovery or reveal his true character. He'd failed spectacularly. The femme fatale of the 21st century doesn't need poison or seduction to destroy her enemies. She uses spreadsheets, strategic planning, and the power of financial independence. Sarah had transformed herself from potential victim to absolute victor, all while maintaining the perfect facade of vulnerable domesticity. As security escorted a stunned David from the hospital, Sarah smiled and returned to her laptop. She had 3 business calls scheduled and a new investment opportunity to evaluate. The divorce would be finalized on her terms, with her lawyers using her money. David would discover that attempting to abandon a modern femme fatale in her moment of supposed weakness was the most expensive mistake of his life. Sometimes the most dangerous woman in the room is the one everyone underestimates. For more stories like this, or to share a similar experience, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Dear Us by Andrea Chika Chukwu.